It's here! The Inside Out 2 trailer that's actually to reveal everything is finally here. You know, I was a little curious about how they were going to market this movie. After having such a long delay on actually seeing anyone other than Anxiety, I was actually half expecting them to only reveal it when the movie released. But no, there you are. Full-on visuals of everybody's included. Suddenly, the control room's a lot more crowded. I think I even predicted that this trailer was going to come out around about March time based off of how the Soul release went. And then I just completely forgot about it, so this just caught me off guard. But now we really get to see whether Inside Out 2 is just another sequel or is actually keeping up with the full throttle steam that the first movie introduced on ways of creativity and translation for complex feelings and explanations. Not to mention all sorts of puns and gags and jokes along the way. And after seeing this trailer, I'm not too concerned. There's a couple places I'm a little bit like, we'll see. But generally, it looks like more Inside Out, obviously, but actually done well. They still have, somehow, more mental ideas to come up with. We've heard of the train of thought. That's old news now. It's all about the sar-chasm, or suppressed emotions. Incredible stuff, honestly. I'm surprised there's room to keep going, but clearly, the geniuses at Pixar are still there. Now, as for the actual new emotions, we have actually slightly seen them before. We saw their noses sticking out of a hole in a poster once, and now we see them properly, officially. Yeah, they look alright. They're gonna take a little bit of time to get used to, I think. But a big elephant-looking dude somehow works inside of the room. Anxiety, of course, we've gotten all sorts of used to. And a tiny little fairy-looking thing for Envy, yeah, again, kind of fits. She's gonna have to be constantly sitting on the control panel, I guess, so that's a little bit strange. The one I was really confused about was Ennui. Not only for the concept of that emotion and a word I'd never heard before, but they look so droopy and lanky. And there was some previous leaked merch images that showed these characters earlier, so this is where my early biases came from. But I guess if they're never actually at the control panel and they're just constantly drooped over that couch, has that always been in the control room? Funnily enough, I just think it all works, surprisingly enough. Now, of course, the concept of Riley herself trying to go through puberty with a whole new stage of school and teenagehood, that all just writes itself, practically. Really, there are two things that concerned me when watching this trailer outright. The first was the fact that we now have a 9-character ensemble cast all crowded around the control panel. So the idea of Riley going up to someone in the hallway and about to spark a conversation suddenly is going to be a far more cluttered and awkward scene to write and listen to when you've got 9 different characters debating what she says. You know, this is probably like a 90-minute Pixar movie. This isn't Disco Elysium, you know? The main concern I would see with a scene like that is the idea that there are probably going to be some characters that are just silent and fade away into the background, you know? Kind of like the droopy guy, but he does that intentionally. However, as I understand it, that's probably only going to happen once, maybe twice, near the early days of the film and then once again at the very, very end. Because the actual next concern fixes this initial one and then opens a whole nother one for me. And that is the fact that, thank you for making it halfway through this video. Do check below if you have subscribed, because if you are, you can be in the know for any new movie animated trailer. Considering this is the 3rd trailer from Inside Out 2, I haven't really got any new production details for you. But for any fresh movie trailers, I can certainly tell you all the deets. Actually, yes we can. Pixar's released a handful of details about these new characters, because we didn't actually know the cast for them before. So we'll cover that near the end, as well as some other things. Anyway, I'll let you get back to seeing the rest of the spectacle that is Inside Out 2. And my thoughts on the side as well, sure. Because the actual next concern fixes this initial one, and then opens a whole nother one for me. And that is the fact that they kind of just repeat the plot of the first movie again. Now, instead of joy and sadness being excluded out to the realms of the inside of the brain for us all to spectate over, now the entire main gang are shoved away and put into the past. I like what it means metaphorically. She's beginning to suppress her emotions. She, as a teenager, has more nuanced emotional needs. Therefore, the basics of happy, sad, a little bit too basic for her right now. But also, we've already gone through the brain a little bit, and it's just now bringing everybody. Although I guess when you think about it logically, they have to go back through the brain, so someone's gonna have to be exposed out there. Really, maybe it could be like a Back to the Future thing, you know, whereby there's some formulas to follow that are familiar, but different in a new way to shed new light on things. Really, I'm not concerned about this movie. Pixar's had a tumultuous history in the last, 5 years now, maybe? But this movie seems to just be checking all the boxes, really. The fact that we weren't seeing it for the longest time, I was thinking might be room for concern, but actually, no, it seems absolutely fine. They really were just drip feeding us earlier with that Super Bowl commercial that's just like the first 30 seconds of this. Let's be honest. And also it makes sense now why in the initial trailer, Disgust's line is cut off so quickly, where she's like, whoa, 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 what do you mean we? And then it cuts to the end. Now it's because obviously Ennui was half interrupting her going, oh, or whatever she says. So yeah, I'm excited. Pixar's got a big ol' swing. The characters look great. As a colorblind guy, I'm surprised there's more colors to represent these emotions. Although Ennui does seem to be borrowing pretty closely between ennui and fear. Right, remember those production details I said we surprisingly do have to mention? Let's talk about them. So for a start, beyond just Maya Hawke playing as Anxiety, we've also now got Ayo Adebiri playing as Envy, Adele Exarchopoulos playing as Ennui, and Paul Walter Hauser playing as Embarrassment. Whilst on the flip side of things, it could be room for concern, but it depends. The roles of Bill Hader and Mindy Kaling have been removed and replaced. So we're not actually dealing with the original disgust or fear in this movie, despite them having a more frontal role. Perhaps? Actually, regardless of where they are, this is still a 9-person main character cast. It's going to be quite the ensemble to juggle. Anyway, now that Pixar's stopped beating around the bush, we now also have official descriptions for each of these new characters. With Envy, Pixar says that she may be small, but she sure knows what she wants. Embarrassment likes to lay low, which isn't exactly easy for this burly guy with a bright plush pink complexion and a butt crack. Pixar didn't say the butt crack line. And with Ennui, Ennui couldn't care less. Is bored and lethargic with a well-practiced eye roll. So to a non-literate person, it is the teenage emotion. Now, considering the original movie had a quote from Pete Docter saying that there's 5 to 27 emotions, and we now have 9, I guess we're exactly at a third of the total capacity of the brain. I don't think they'll ever get around to actually doing 27. They might end up doing a third movie. I kind of wouldn't be surprised. An adulthood one would be interesting. An actual college movie would be brilliant. I'm not sure if Pixar has the demographic to care about that, but I'd love a college movie, actually. And that's all the real production details I've got for you this time. Let's just hope with the new voice cast, they have the ability to make us cry still. Now, of course, there's no delays. Still coming out June 14th. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last trailer we actually see now, other than maybe a week before the movie to remind us. You know the characters, you get the premise, let's just roll out in the summer to see a proper, good, teenage drama flick. No, I don't know what that giant line work is. It's the central nervous system. That's all I can come up with. On that note, I'm gonna end it off there. My name's been Daz. Thank you for making it to the very end of this video. Give me your predictions on Inside Out 2 jokes, gags, and puns they can come up with. What do you think the big line light is? What emotional metaphor have they missed? And if they invent a horny island, I'm going to cancel this movie. And I will see you in a little bit.